Welcome everyone to our council meeting for Monday, August 10th. And can we have a roll call to call of order?
Terry McClung?
I'm here.
Bob Thomas?
Here.
Vicky Schneider?
Yep.
David Mitchell?
I'm here, too.
Joyce Zeller?
Here.
James DeVito?
Here.
We have 6.
All right. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Get a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
You got any changes from council members?
What?
Mr. McClung?
Are we ready for number one for under unfinished business? Because we haven't spoken with the.
No, we're going to have to table that.
Okay.
Mickey?
I don't know if you want to do it tonight or if you want to put it on the agenda for next time, but we need to discuss 2 upcoming holidays on council night. Should take like 30 seconds.
Well, we can probably do that tonight if council wishes.
I don't care which way we go.
I'll second that.
Okay.
So what on Tuesday?
Council meeting holiday schedule. All right. Also, under new business, the second item, the under new business, the second up project, we're going to postpone until further notice.
Which one?
2 new business.
Number 2 under new business.
Oh, new business.
Oh, that's the stairway.
Yes, the stairway.
Okay.
And number 3 is being canceled, to be taken off the agenda. They're putting the seat down at main stage. Yes, sir.
Can I add under new business the topic of a brief just explanation of fluoride?
Second.
The box.
Okay. Brief explanation.
Brief statement. I'm going to read it even.
Okay. This is by you.
Yes, sir.
All right. I guess we got a second by Mickey.
I'll
Yes.
second it.
I already did.
It's done.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else? All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And everybody got a copy of the minutes? Get a motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments, deletions, additions? If not, all in favor of approval of the minutes as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. I'm going to throw this out to the CAPC members. Did they vote on King Ketelsen?
No.
Okay.
We haven't met. We won't meet till
This week?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll defer that to our next meeting. And for our viewing public, we have a vacancy at the Parks Commission. So if you're interested in serving on the parks and doing some public service, we need the parks and also the cemetery, 2 important commissions that we have that we need some commission members on. So please come down and put in an application if you're interested. Brings us up to public comments. And first up is Miss Becky Gillette. There she is.
Hi, thank you. We saw yesterday when you had the big water main break on Main Street, one of the problems that can happen with our system. I'm not saying that fluoride caused it for 3 weeks ago, but corrosion of our water pipes is a concern because the fluoridation chemicals are very caustic, and it's a concern that the city has brought up to the health department along with several other serious concerns. David Mitchell had a presentation to the health department, and they didn't even do the city show enough respect to respond to that. And I was interviewing an anti-fluoridation person today who thinks that actually is against the law, that they have to respond to these concerns. So Also, I wanted to show you the contract with Carol Boone and the cities that I received today that basically forbids them from putting any corrosive chemicals in the water system. And I have sent an electronic copy of that, and Kim has found a copy of that. So I would say that this suggests that Carol Boone is not in compliance with its contract with the city, and it may be an issue that you want to bring up with them. But also, under the Administrative Procedures Act, there is a remedy for the city or for citizens that feel that this fluoride mandate is unwise, considering the problems with the fluoridation chemicals being combined with chloramines, the disinfectant, and the potential for that to leach lead out of the pipes. My understanding, again, from reading the contract, is Carol Boone is supposed to be testing these chemicals on a regular basis and reporting to the city whenever you ask them to. I asked them for test results for arsenic, lead, barium, and aluminum, which are the most common chemical contaminants in the fluoridation chemicals. They don't test for that at all. Don't we have a right to know how much lead and arsenic and barium and aluminum that we have in our drinking water? Right now, we don't have it. It's also the Secure Arkansas has sent me documents that there's also a responsibility of Carol Boone to test these chemicals on site before they put them in the water, so they know how much contaminants are in them. But they're not doing that. So again, I would just suggest that this is an important issue to a lot of people. It's important to our infrastructure. If we do end up with more corrosion, if we end up with higher lead levels and in our water, people at least need to know about that so that they have an option to filter out the water. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Becky. All right, that is the end of our public comments. So we'll go to item number 2 of unfinished business, and that's regarding the bid on the Public Works building. We have discovered that we're going to have to put the building out for bid. We can't do the emergency measure like what we had been voted upon in the last administration. The present law states that all public buildings have to be bid. So what our plan of action is to go ahead and put out separate bids and not, well, this depends on the council, how the council would like to do it. I'll put it this way. What I would like to propose is that we put out, if it's agreeable with the council, separate bid packages, one for the concrete and metal building because they kind of go together, and then put out bid packages for the mechanical, the electrical, and the plumbing. And will act as our general contractor, similar to what we were going to do anyway. But basically the only difference is we'll be putting out we'll have to bid the metal building component along with the concrete. And the reason I don't want to separate those two is because it's very important when you have a metal building that you have that person also responsible for setting all your reinforcing and your steel and your anchor bolts in the concrete, and having the concrete person coordinate all that. So that's kind of where we are, heading toward that position.
What about the insulation?
Well,
Insulation? Will that be done?
That would be part of the metal building package.
Okay.
Yeah, on there.
No interior partitions?
Not at this point.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
that'll all be in the second package.
Yes, yeah. And or we would do that ourselves. We're still looking and seeing how we'll do that so we can come up with a final
Second thing
estimate
is,
of
do we
cost.
need to do that same kind of thing for refurbishing the existing building, or can it?
No, because I think that's going to be under $20,000. I mean, all we're going to do with that is basically just paint it and clean it up, and a lot of that's we'll be doing ourselves.
And fix the bottom and everything, get rid of
Yeah.
the rust and
Yeah.
and
Cut out and all
decompose.
that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So you're
Okay.
looking for a motion to approve the bidding on the Public Works building in component bids.
Correct.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Mickey?
Okay, so clarify for everybody. Because we started this, was it last year?
Yes.
Has anything physically been done yet?
No.
Okay.
Not as far as construction.
Okay, and that was the next one, because I know they're going to say, what?
Nope. I mean, and it's a good thing that we caught this when we did. It was brought to my attention, and I talked to Municipal League, and they said, absolutely, we have to put this out, public buildings for bid.
So we're going to have, what, a 3-month delay? Is that the bidding time? I don't remember for sure.
Well, we could, yeah, well, it's going to take a while to get the mechanical electrical price, get that redone, because we are making some changes in the building. I'm going to go ahead and make some changes in the actual building itself. Because we're moving it down below, we're eliminating some doors and eliminating some other issues. Also trying to eliminate some of the concrete costs, because remember we had 8-inch concrete in the bays. We're changing the bay structure, so there's some work that needs to be done on the drawings that I'm going to have to get taken care of before we put
So
that out.
a small general rewrite and then putting it out for bid?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
In a project like this, is someone overseeing it? Is the architect or whoever is in charge to see that all the specs are adhered to and and everything it goes forward the way it's supposed to?
The structural engineer will be taking care of our foundations and our footings in the steel work.
Okay.
I'll be looking at it. The building inspector will be looking at it, and Dwayne Allen will be looking
Okay,
at it.
'cause when they-
and then when we do the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, the MEP engineer will be able to look at that, and will also review all the shop drawings, which are the drawings that come in for those buildings.
Okay,
components.
because when the water plant, our last version of our water plant was built, there were some dumb mistakes made because nobody seemed to be in charge. Okay, and it costs money. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Are we planning to go ahead with repairs to the existing building anyway, so it can be ready for this winter and inclement weather? Or
I haven't talked with Dwayne. Dwayne's been a little busy the last
couple of days.
couple of days, yeah. So I'll find out. But yeah, I mean, we're going to try to go ahead and with that and make sure we'll be in good shape.
Because we may not get the other.
Correct.
Yeah, it may not even start till the first year
Yeah,
or later if we approve it.
true. And once we get the bids all in, then we'll have to bring that back to the council, and then the council will have to approve that component. David, did you have something?
And that would include the repairs to the old building too, because it's over a certain amount.
If it's over $20,000, it has to be out for bids, but I think...
Is that our limit, 20,000 for capital? It has to go out to bids?
Correct. And I think a lot of this is going to be done in-house. I'll have to talk to Dwayne. We haven't really talked about repair work to the existing building. As Mr. McClung was talking about, the major part would be, cutting out some of the rusted along the bottom and stuff. And, we may work at that time with the metal building contractor that's selected on the project to get him to work with us on that. It kind of makes sense. I don't know. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor of putting the project out to bid in separate components signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The second item on this, and we're really not ready to quite discuss this completely, is how are we going to pay for this project. Lonnie has come up with a concept, and we're still looking at this. We think we've found a method of being able to pay for this where we're not going to be taking any money out of reserves, and we're also not taking any money out of Public Works. So, well, I know it's kind of exciting, in a lot of ways.
Bucks.
Gotta print money.
But we're still looking into the details and getting that. So because you guys will come up with a lot more questions than we have the answers to right now. But at this point, we are looking at a way of trying to do this so we won't be going into our reserves, and so we can still get this building done, which we all need. So anyway, that's kind of bring you up on that aspect of it. Yep. And I can talk to you a little bit later on, but I mean, it's basically I think we'll find a good way of doing this, financing this. So, that brings me up to item number 3, resolution for the tram purchase. Have a motion to discuss?
So moved. Discuss.
Second.
All right. Everybody have a copy of the resolution? Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to sign this resolution and number and read it
Passage.
for passage. You, James.
Second. I think
Do we have a second?
I did.
Okay. Got discussion? No discussion? Just roll call vote? Yeah. Okay.
Ms. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Eller?
Yes.
6-0. Resolution number will be 664. A resolution to authorize the mayor and city transit department to seek financing for purchase of a tram. Whereas the City Council of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has been informed of the needs of the city transit department regarding the purchase of a new tram for use by the city of Eureka Springs, and whereas the city transit department has estimated that it will be able to finance the majority of a tram's purchase cost and meet the obligations for said financing from the revenues received from the city's tram operation, and whereas the city needs a new tram in operation by early 2016, and whereas the city can obtain the specialized tram needed only from Specialty Vehicles Corporation for the cost of $166,520, including a trade-in credit of $3,950 in a reasonable amount of time. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, that the City Council does waive any bidding and authorize the City Transit Department to seek financing options from local lending institutions to finance the remainder of the purchase price of $162,570. Furthermore, the mayor is hereby authorized to assist the City Transit Department in obtaining said financing in any reasonable manner, including but not limited to use of the city's credit to obtain a favorable rate of interest and timely execution of the purchase.
Okay. Thank you for that, and we'll get started on that, and we're going to be putting out bids for financing and bring that back to the council and let y'all know on that too. So, okay, the item number 1 under new business is discussion of the mid-year budget review. Mr. Thomas and Mr.
Move
Mitchell.
to discuss.
Second.
All right. Mr. Thomas?
Well, I was a little bit disappointed with the mid-year budget review simply because of the time restrictions that we had placed on us. The meeting was originally scheduled to be from 5 to 6 o'clock, but of course we had to stop at 5:45 to let the AV man set up. So we only had 45 minutes. And then we had a presenter come in who took part of that time to do a presentation on something that wasn't related to the 2015 budget at all. So I would say we actually had about 30 minutes to discuss our $9 million budget. And I just didn't think it was adequate. I don't think that everybody got to have their input, and I don't think there was any time for any real discussion. So I would like to have a second meeting scheduled. And I would like it to be at least 90 minutes long. And I prefer morning because I'm a morning person.
Do we need a,
Well, we need to, yes, we need to have some sort of an agreement and I guess discussion on when's a good time to go ahead and have another meeting. If the council wants to go ahead and have another one, which I think we can always use. Or anything, I think Bob had some things he wanted to talk about, and he's right. 45 minutes was. There's some items in there we can still go over. And this will also lead us into our next year's budget too, being able to talk about that. What I would like to suggest that if y'all do have some questions about this year's budget, in particular in relationships to a specific department, if you could possibly let me know, and I'll make sure that I can have the department head there also. I think I answered a couple of y'all's questions that you had the last time, but still, you may find some other questions that the department heads, would help to be able to answer. So I think the main thing is, can y'all want to go ahead and have another meeting, and then we want to do a morning, afternoon, 4 to 6, 10 to 12, 1 to 3. I mean, it's up to y'all.
Just as long as it's not this week.
Well, it probably won't be this week. I don't think Mr. McClung can go this week. Yes, sir.
Because we're going to shortly be coming into the budget for next year too, and the two are going to be tied together somewhat, I think, in that because we're going to really examine this current year, what we've done so far, and kind of roll that over into next year, what we think we can do. For me, the next 3 weeks are going to be pretty sorry as far as having time to do anything. What I'm thinking of in my mind, and just throw this out there, is to pick it up in September, and I'm all for a morning meeting as well. I think that's great. 9, 10 o'clock to start, whatever is good for me. I don't care. But I think it's something we probably ought to, once we schedule, I think we ought to have it every 2 weeks and go ahead and roll right into what we're going to do for this next year. So we don't wait till the last minute like happens to us so often, and we try to cram it in, and I'd rather not do that. I would rather be a little more diligent in what we're doing. And
I've thought along the same lines that you have, because we are going to be rolling in from one end to the other, and it's a good time to start a transition. And as y'all know, I've been many times have been on this council with you guys. I don't want us to wait till the tail end. So I've been encouraging, and the same thing with our department heads, to go ahead and start looking at getting their budget ready for next year.
Absolutely agree 100% with what Terry said, and I understand exactly what Bob needs. Mornings for me are out, and the reason is I am unbelievably, must be that marketing working, because the M is bursting, and I'm taking reservations up to Christmas already. It's phenomenal. So I'll have to probably pass on some mornings. I'm sorry.
Well, we don't need anybody to pass. We need to reach a time when everybody can be together.
I mean, afternoon's all right too. I don't really care.
If we want to do a 4 to 6
I'm
or
retired.
3 to 5, because also remember that the people that are working here too are, they're on an 8-hour day.
I think we need to keep it where we can be done by 5, because
Yes.
there's a lot of us that have other commitments.
Yep.
That go on into the evening too.
Absolutely.
And so if we can look at a 3 to 5.
Anything
I mean,
afternoon, some around then after would be great, or it's possible. It's just the morning times getting people changed.
I can't do mornings.
It looks like afternoons then.
That's fine.
I'll come in the afternoon. I'll take a nap before the meeting. But I would like to say, I haven't done a City of Eureka Springs budget review before, but I have done other budget reviews. I don't see a budget review as just asking specific questions about what is this item, what is this item, what is this item. My concept of a budget review is that sometimes you look at where you are and if you're in good shape, or if you need to make some financial adjustments on the budget because you're not in such good shape. So, waiting until September is I think, way too late. But that's my concept of a budget review.
James?
Well, it's a couple of weeks out. We did do a cursory look at the budget. Most of everything showed in the 50% range, which is where it should be. So I don't think there was any red flag that came out as we looked at the budget up till now.
There were a couple.
A couple weeks, I don't see where that's going to make that big a difference.
We will be giving you another, is that what you're going to say? Yeah, you'll be getting another monthly budget statement here end of this month. Yeah. I mean, we've been getting pretty good about getting our budgets out.
Did he say hopefully?
He did say hopefully.
After that expensive computer system, you'd think you'd get a better word than hopefully.
That's about it.
Mayor, I just want to respond to that because there's a lot of things the computer doesn't do.
Yeah, it's the old gigo.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah. So, let me get with Lonnie and get with our department heads and see and kind of encourage them to start getting their budget items together too.
At the end of the meeting, it was really rushed, but I thought I heard Lonnie say we had the 2015 budget projected like a $300,000 surplus. And I thought I heard, isn't that right?
No.
I didn't hear.
I didn't have any
I
surplus
think
at
that
all.
was. I thought that was 2014 that we were supposed to be putting almost 200,000 in. Is what I remember.
I'm sorry. Maybe give me a minute.
I don't recall saying that.
No, I didn't. You didn't say that. I thought the budget said it.
I didn't catch that.
What would that figure be right there?
Please let's not have off-camera discussions.
Pardon?
That would be revenues over expenses.
So isn't that a surplus?
You want to come up here
Yeah.
so we can...
So,
That number at the end there would represent a surplus according to the budget,
right.
to the budgeted numbers.
Well, that was, and I said 300,000. Actually, the projected surplus was 600,000.
Or 600,000. But
And
that,
at the end of the meeting, I thought you said that you didn't really see a surplus at this point in time.
because of some, you're right, I don't see the
Well,
way our cash flow's going,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
was
seeing
going
a
to say
surplus.
that's where my concern over the budget comes in. Is we're $600,000 under what we thought we were going to do. So that's why I had a concern. So,
But we'll have another one coming, like the mayor said, and for you to look at. And and again, that's the budgeted numbers, but there are a couple of three things in there that there's a fireman's pension fund that's included in there, which has their own money, has their own funds and everything. And part of that surplus was on the projection of the sale of securities that they were going to do. And so it's not really city money. We just act as a agency that writes the checks for them. We don't do the investing. We maintain the bank. We maintain the bank, account, but that's about it. So that's what part of that is, and the other part of it may be because of transit, and they're doing pretty well, taking care of their expenses, revenues, and everything. And of course, that's kind of a separate. Transit is partially state funded. But
I don't know. I guess when I look at this, I call that the bottom line. And that was my concern, was that we went from a projected $600,000 surplus to, you were saying, possibly none. So I wanted to get back into that a little bit more. Thank you.
we can do that.
Okay.
James?
I'll try to assuage some of your concerns, Bob, for the next couple of weeks till we meet. We got the numbers in for the CAPC. This is January through the end of June. And the city is up 7.7%. Those are sizable numbers. Everybody I've talked to is having an excellent year. The Chamber's recent newsletter they stated the same thing, that across the board, everybody's having an excellent year. So, I mean, it's not the downside that we're hemorrhaging, but we're doing quite well.
David?
To pick up where Bob was, would it be possible to ask Lonnie for this meeting that we're going to have to give us some more definitive answer of the $600,000, what on it was money that really was peripheral and what money is get that number down to more actual number. How much extra do we have this year? How much is going into reserves?
Okay.
It would be nice to get a number.
Well, and a lot of this too, as James said, is projected. A lot of it it's based on, as we all know, it's just a budget based on last year's.
Absolutely.
In there too. So the comment.
Well, there's 2 or 3 things that you have to take into consideration in regard to that number, in addition to what I just told you. First of all, we're coming in and our sales tax collections they run 2 months behind, as you know. So the heavy months we'll get here June's sales tax in August, and we'll get it probably sometime in the middle to the last part of next week. So and the CAPC money is for the most part 1 month behind. Am I correct on that, Jane? And so what we're seeing an indication of some really good sales tax collections here, which should boost our revenues back up.
So you think we will have a big surplus?
I think we will have some surplus, but big, or little, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then of course we are counting on property tax revenues also, and since those are not due until October 15th, most everybody doesn't pay them until October 15th, and so we won't get those until November. And so we've got some pretty good sized collections coming in the latter part of the year.
Right.
And so at any rate,
I'm sorry, I thought I heard you tell Mr. Mitchell, he asked the question about are we putting money in reserves, and you said that you didn't think there would be any surplus this year. And I really didn't mean to get into budget discussion here because we should have done it at the budget review meeting.
At this point, I cannot tell you that we will have surplus to put in, because at this point, today, we don't.
Right.
Okay? We may have by the end of the year, but today, we don't.
Right, okay.
I have a question, Nora.
Joyce?
The Carroll County tax assessor should be able to tell us how much money actually to anticipate, provided all the taxes are paid. I mean, we should be able to get some kind of a figure, even though that we won't have the tax money. We should be able to have some kind of an estimate from them.
We could, I'm sure, get an estimate, but I haven't gone and done that yet. I can if that's what you all want me to do, but I have not asked them for anticipated revenues this time.
I would assume that they know what the total amount is billed, and they know what the default is generally, percentage-wise at least.
I'm not sure they have it broken out into the cities versus the county and
really?
overall.
Really?
I have it.
Okay.
Do they? I don't know.
I think that was on that spreadsheet we got that went 5 years back and had the property taxes, and there hadn't been much of a change one way or another. So you pretty well, if you're doing the budget, could have counted historically, looking back 5 years, and probably been almost right on. So if you take the $600,000 and you take the fireman's fund, and then must be some other monies in there that aren't, if you subtract those off, then there's a set amount of money that Bob's talking about that should have been I'll just use the word profit because people love that word. The profit that we should have had to have used for reserves, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. And it would be nice to take that number and take away numbers that are in that number that shouldn't be in there, and what is left that was exactly going to be the city's to set aside. If the sales taxes go up because we're having a fantastic year, then that's great. But we didn't budget a fantastic year. We budgeted this amount, and for this amount of money. So it would make sense to zero in on the budget and what happened based on that was wrong. Great that we're going to have a good year. That should be in excess of what we expected.
We can try to get some figures for you.
We can pull those numbers out and get you a hard number if you like.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Is there anything that we can see in our future that might end up costing us a bunch of money that we don't know for sure? I mean, anything like lawsuits and things like that? Is there anything that we have to prepare for?
We have some lawsuits out there.
Yeah, I know, but we need to keep that in mind also. I mean, I just budget households, but there's always contingencies. Okay. Well, we'll get to it.
We'll try to, I think what I'm hearing, of course, it's not going to be too far before we're in September. So we'll go ahead and try to schedule a workshop. I'm assuming like 3 to 5 is okay. And we'll just pick a date. We'll get a date and I'll get Kim to call everybody.
As long as it's not a council night.
As long as it's not a council night.
Right.
We can always cancel
and
the
hopefully
meeting.
we would have the draft budget that the department heads would have turned in, or you want to do one before department heads have turned in?
No, we'll have the department heads here. I mean, submitting some of their budgets at that time. Now, whether or not we won't be having all of them at the same time, it's like Mr. McClung said. What we can do is try to schedule them every 2 weeks, and maybe doing one department at a time or 2 departments, depending on the size of the budget.
So will they have turned those budgets in
That's
to
what I'm
Lonnie,
gonna try
and they will have
to-
been printed out?
I want to try to have that done.
Okay, that's what I
Because it's
want.
not going to do us any good to work on next year's budget if we don't have those budgets.
That's right.
Yep. I understand that concept.
Do we have any other
Thank you.
questions?
Any other questions?
I don't have any written down.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, that brings us up to Mickey talking about council meetings, holidays. Which
Move
holidays?
to discuss.
Second.
Are you thinking about Thanksgiving or are you thinking about Halloween?
Well, actually.
We did Memorial Day.
No,
Memorial Day?
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Labor Day is the first Monday, or is it Labor Day? And of course, the one day I leave my thing home, huh?
It's the 7th. It doesn't count.
It's always
Okay.
the first Monday.
Yeah, I left my stupid calendar home the only time I did.
Would you like to see
There were
one?
2 of them coming up. Columbus Day was one of them.
Columbus Day?
Yeah, I thought so.
Celebrate that, do we?
That's what I'm saying. It could have waited, or a week ago. I could look now.
I don't know. He was Italian.
Columbus Day is in October 12th.
Right,
And that is the second Monday.
right. That one is. There was. I could have sworn there was something in September, but I may have been looking at the number wrong. So we just need to decide on that. But my suggestion, and the only reason I wanted to bring everything up now was so you can look at your calendar, see what you want to do. November and December, we normally have one. November has 5 weeks. We could put one right square in the middle, and it would be awesome. Instead of going first or fourth, or second or fourth, put it in the middle. But we do have to decide on the holiday times.
Are we seriously considering Columbus as a holiday that we...
Are not the city offices closed? That was why I wanted to discuss it, because I don't remember
Mr.
on
McClung?
Columbus Day.
There's an old saying that Columbus took a chance, so maybe we should too and have a meeting.
All I'm saying is if
I
the city,
don't
if
know
the
why
city
not.
offices are closed, then we should be changing our date, that's all. And I don't know if it's closed on
don't know why they changed
Columbus
it.
Day. I haven't a clue anymore. They've gotten
Columbus-
so weird.
I think we've always met on Columbus Day.
In November, the 9th and the 23rd, I think we met twice in November last year. I don't know why not.
Well, that one I think.
December is the 7th and the 20th.
No,
It'd be the 14th and the 28th. I mean, the 28th, you may have some people out of town.
We can figure this out in the interim.
Well, that,
You don't have to
see,
figure
that's
it
what I'm
out
saying,
tonight.
30-second talk, just so you can check your calendars, look and think.
All right. My suggestion is let's go ahead and meet on Columbus Day.
Yeah.
So moved.
It's okay by me.
Yeah.
I don't
Wait, I'm
think we
a-
have
Aye,
a
aye.
parade or anything
Aye, aye,
that day,
Captain.
do we?
Did
Yeah, I
Aye.
don't think there's any.
Well, and I think probably the only thing we'll really need to worry about is December, it looks like.
Well, like I said, November and December, we always do one.
Well, November, if we want, we can do that, but we've got good times for that, so.
Well, that's, I think November will be easy this year
All right.
for a change.
Okay, well, people can look at
Okay.
that and let me know and see what y'all think. It's your, can have a meeting on that. Are we done with that?
Yep. I just wanted to bring it
All
up.
right. All right, now we'll have the brief explanation of fluoride by
Motion to discuss.
second.
Second?
Who's
Oh.
second?
I'm going
Second.
to follow up on something that Becky brought up. I didn't realize that she was going to be here to talk about it. But a lot of times there's people behind the scenes that are doing a lot of work on fluoride and various things. And I had asked Dwayne some questions about fluoride and everything. And he sent a fascinating email to me that I think he deserves credit for and deserves the public display. And I would like the opportunity to share that, everybody, because sometimes these silent folks behind the scenes are doing an awful lot. David, yes, I do plan on expanding our water sampling. A fluoride analyzer is over $6,000, but we have a spectromanometer at the plant, which we use for nutrition monitoring, and I believe we can purchase the reagents to perform lead, aluminum, and fluoride testing. I am still confirming the standards on each. Lead tests cost about $15 if you have a separate lead unit, which we do not. For lead, you cannot have any flow for at least 6 hours. I will compare the higher cost to purchasing equipment. Of course, we are only certified for certain substances, but if we detect any high readings, we can have a lab verify them. I ran lead and copper on 10 spots just before the fluoride was added. Those results have not been returned from the state lab. At some point, I hope to have our lab certification expanded, which will save us quite a bit. I had hoped the Washington results would help in stopping the injection. I work with McGoodwin, Williams, and Yates on researching the connection to fluoride. I spoke at the health department meeting last year on their plans to implement the law, which was already passed. The health department did not want to discuss the possibility, and with the anger from some attending, not much was accomplished. I asked if they would tighten the CDC regs and have Delta Dental help with the training as well. Everyone knows fluoride in high concentrations is harmful, and still they do not have to notify me until they reach 4 milligrams per liter, and if you can imagine, not stop injecting until they hit 10 milligrams per liter. The training is vastly inadequate and had to be rushed in for different regions. I was certified in fluoride by Mr. Green of the Arkansas Department of Health several years ago during a 24-hour course, and now a half-day course is considered sufficient. As you know, the state is not open to discussion at this time, but Eureka Springs has unfortunately become a test lab for the effects of fluoride on century-old water mains. Hopefully we can solve this for the entire state while maintaining our working relationship with all involved agencies. I will keep you informed. D. Allen, Director of Public Works. He's doing an excellent job for us, and even when I had spoke with the health department, had mentioned to them that we would be looking into testing the water, and if we found concentrations of lead, that we would be reporting back to the state and also the national level because of the lead-free mandate from the federal government on the process, and then to find that Dwayne is way on top of the situation and has been for a long time. I felt that it was important to let the public hear and know that our Director of Public Works is doing a great job in that regard. That's it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've been involved in this fluoride thing for long enough now to have the feeling that the Carroll Boone Water Board is not doing due diligence. I wonder, they're not doing their job. I don't know what they do at these meetings, but they're not doing their job. There's no excuse for us not testing every single batch that comes in because it's the law that this stuff has to be tested. And I wonder whether, I don't know, how do you get on the water board, or should we send them a resolution? Should we consider this? And I'm wondering whether, since we're facing a budget review and budget for next year, is there something some sort of a filter we can buy to put on our water line before that water comes off of Carol Boone into our city that will filter out this stuff. This is a really serious health issue problem that we've just simply got to address. And that's just a comment. I don't want a motion or anything. It's just my opinion on this thing.
I've been saying that for over
I'm
a year.
appalled. And considering the mood of the public politically, I mean, the American people have had it with government. I mean, they're out for blood.
All right.
So, okay.
We're getting your point.
Okay, we do not need a revolution in Arkansas.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, that comes up to our agenda setting.
Nothing for me.
Mr. McClung?
Nope.
James?
No.
David?
No.
Mickey?
Was the up project postponed, canceled, what?
Postponed.
Okay, so that'll be on next month, or next
Well, I
meeting?
don't know. It's just postponed. I don't know when it'll
Oh,
be.
okay, they postponed it.
Yes.
Okay, I'll see him tomorrow. Okay, thank you, that's
Okay.
it.
Joyce?
No, I don't have anything.
All right. City council comments.
Not for me.
All right. Sorry, Bob. Couldn't get me on the spot again. Terry?
Just wanted to ask again about the fountain on top of the hill, Planter Hill. Any
Yes, and
follow up with
that
that?
is a combination with the bank, and I had talked to department heads, and we were supposed to, I haven't found out anything particular. There was some issues with that being constructed, and how we're going to get it repaired. And part of that was done by Community First, and so we were in discussion with them about getting the fountain back on.
I think that's all I have.
So, I mean, I'll push that again. I'm glad you brought it up. I'll see if I can get a hold of somebody at Community First tomorrow.
I did mention something last time about the streets, and then I noticed something that was probably someplace that some of the streets were mentioned and named that were on the, well, I guess that was Passion Play Road and what was it, Milton or Magnetic, but are there others that he has published for repairs yet, or did I?
No, but we're looking at
Did I dream that?
Hillside is one of them, and we got some others on there too. Dwayne hadn't given me a list of the streets, but again, I asked Dwayne too if he could prepare me and I don't know whether y'all got one or not, but I asked him to go ahead and give me a priority for streets for next year. So
Thank
we'd
you.
have it. We used to always get one, and I don't know what's happened. It's probably just failed to ask him for it.
Thank you.
James?
I'd just like to thank all the visitors and the local people that came out for the weekend. I thought we had a great weekend, a lot of festivities in the park. I'd like to commend the mayor for being the first mayor to speak at the diversity gathering in Basin Park. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. The community appreciates your thoughtful concerns. Kate Brothers, everybody had a great time. Thank the CAPC for providing the funds for music in the park. The heat index at 5 o'clock on Friday night was 115 degrees here in Eureka Springs, and I don't think it dropped below 105 for the whole weekend. So to have that many people in town on such a hot weekend just bears testament to the kind of draw that Eureka Springs is, and I appreciate everybody that worked hard, because we work weekends in Eureka Springs.
Thanks, Dave. David?
I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank Joyce Zeller for one of the most entertaining.
So much fun.
The brilliance of the Daily Show, the brilliance of the topic, but juxtapositioning grandmotherly Joyce Zeller
Betty White
against
Zeller.
against an opponent, and they weren't really squaring off each other, but it came across that way, was excellent. The goodwill, the advertising, the whole value of that. it was phenomenal. And Miss Zeller, you slammed it.
You did
That was
good.
it.
Nikki?
Well, I'm glad we had a good weekend. I wasn't here because I was greeting my 14th grandchild. My eldest son, Tracy, and his wife have had another boy. And he's adorable. He's itty bitty, but he's so cute. And I wanted to remind everyone we have the EUREKA coming up. Triathlon starts Friday. We can still use volunteers. Please call Kim. She's right over there. Call her for any volunteers she can help get you in. And Andy from Mountain Sushi says hi to everyone. He misses y'all. And come on out to Fayetteville to see him. And, we do have a workshop next meeting night, right?
Yes.
Okay. We have a
We do?
workshop, guys, 4:30.
4:30?
Yeah. Food trucks. That's our food truck workshop.
It's 5 to 6. One
5?
more.
Okay. I thought it said 4:30.
Oh, 5 o'clock?
I'm looking at 4:30 on my thing. Anyway.
So what is the date?
Next council meeting. 5 o'clock workshop.
Maybe
the
like
24th.
24th, yeah.
I left my calendar at home.
17th?
I think it's the 17th.
Yeah.
We'll double
2
check
weeks
everything
is-
and take it out.
It was supposed to be before council.
It'd be 2 weeks
Yeah.
from today.
Yeah. It's right before.
So
Yes, that's
it
right.
would be the 24th.
I don't know. I left my calendar at home.
All right, Joyce?
Well, just to say that Saturday was fun. I enjoyed it, and I just I've said thank you to so many people for that. It was very, very warm. I had so many selfies taken, I can't believe. And of course, I looked a mess, but oh well. Anyhow, I got to tell you that the publicity we got from that is extraordinary. I must have had over 100 emails from people who came in my shop 20 years ago. And I've had emails from Japan, from Australia, from Germany, all over the United States. They know we're out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you that apparently the attitude of the country has become a lot more tolerant than it used to be, because I didn't get one nasty email from anybody. So anyhow, thank you guys. It was
Very
fun.
good.
All right. Couple of things. Probably the majority of the citizens realize, and I know the council does, we had a major water break, major water line break yesterday evening around 4 o'clock. And a lot of homes and businesses had low water pressure. The good news is most of that, all the water lines pressures were restored by noon today. It was probably about an 8-foot long section of pipe, 8-inch pipe that had split. And who knows why for sure. But the good news is they've got it all repaired and all the water is back on. I think probably about 5:30, 6 o'clock. At 5 o'clock they were just tightening up all the bolts and everything. And so all the water lines are on. The bad news is we are under a self-proclaimed partial boil order. On partial as being on East Mountain area, because that was where the water was shut off. And we did it ourselves. The state didn't require us to do it. And we should be able to restore that as soon as we get the water testing, make sure everything's okay. All that basically means is that you shouldn't drink the water. Of course, with the fluoride in it, no matter where you are, many people don't drink it anyway. But we'll have enough water for our toilets and showers and things like that. So that's the good news. The public works people really went overboard, I think, in trying to get this taken care of. They ended up having to go to Green Forest and Harrison to get parts for this line. So, and of course, we've had water lines breaks all over. I had one myself at the house, and I guess it's a good time to say I did not buy the water line insurance. I wish I had. I thought I had water line was good, and it wasn't. So you never know where your water line's going to break. And so As far as also anybody that may have some air in their pipes will probably be resolved as soon as you start using the water lines. As soon as you turn them on, water will force the air out of the lines, so there shouldn't be any problems with that. Events. This weekend we're having a double weekend. We've got the EUREKA starting all day Saturday and Sunday. That's a major, starting out Friday with registrations. And they start at 5 o'clock in the morning, I think, for registration. Those people get up early.
We start registering on Thursday night and Friday morning because the triathlon, which technically is at Holiday Island, starts Friday, but it's all part of the EUREKA. They take off at, I think it's 7:20 in the morning, Saturday morning. We have a 4 o'clock special breakfast planned.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, at Forest Hill. Or maybe it's 5, but yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm sure the people that will be attending the Bluegrass Festival won't be up at that time in the morning.
Thank God.
Bluegrass starts on the 13th. We'll have free watermelon feast down at the Basin Park. So anybody that's in the EUREKA can come down and get watermelon.
I don't know if it starts at 6 or 7. I don't remember.
At night?
It's at 6. Watermelon at 6.
At night?
Watermelon at 6.
I'll send them.
And this is sponsored by the CAPC. It's providing the watermelon. So come on down. We'll have music. And people who want to play and jam. There'll be a lot of good music going on all weekend long.
Bring your instrument.
Bring your instruments. This is one of my favorite festivals. Of course, I'm a bluegrass junkie. So that's going to go on all the way through Sunday. We've got some great entertainers coming in, being at the park and at the auditorium. So come on down and have fun. Come on over to EUREKA if you're hearing this out of town. And then the 28th through the 30th, we'll have the Eureka Springs Volkswagen Show, which is always a large contingent of Volkswagens coming in. And that's going to be up at the end of the Ozarks. We'll have the parade on the 29th at 3 o'clock in the historic loop down Spring Street.
3 o'clock?
3 o'clock. That's what it says. And then we'll have on the 28th and 29th the Foul Air Overflow Show, which is some sort of a Volkswagen event. Show up at Pine Mountain Village if you want to know what that's all about, and we can find out. That's going to be all day.
Excellent.
I do want to say, and this kind of follows up on the Daily Show, we received, not only national, probably worldwide, obviously, recognition on the Daily Show. And one of them, we had a caller from a Canadian citizen the day after the Daily Show called up, and he had been following the progress of Ordinance 2223, and he wanted to send commendations to Eureka Springs for our effort and culture of inclusivity, and send support and appreciation from Canada. So, I thought that was pretty nice on there.
On that note, I was reading the comments on the Daily Show website. All the people who have watched that thing comment, and it's been nothing but 100% good.
Yeah, good. All right, that's all I have.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Why did you do it? That was such a bird.
Yeah,